Frequently asked question number 56. Why are some succulents illegal to propagate? Now, I'm sure you might have gone to a succulent store, purchased a succulent, but you happen to notice that there is a label saying that this succulent is prohibited for propagation, or propagation of this succulent is prohibited. And at times you tend to think, why is that mentioned? And a lot of times people tend to keep that succulent back thinking there is some issue with the succulent. Now guys, the reason behind this is because that particular variety of succulent could be a patent succulent. For example, cubic frost in the US is a patent succulent. Basically, the inventor or the person who created this hybrid succulent has patented the succulent. So basically a patent succulent prohibits the asexual propagation, which means that you cannot do a stem cutting, you cannot do a root division, you cannot do tissue culture, or you cannot propagate them via leaves. Now guys, you do not need to be worried, because if you are buying this succulent for yourself, you can definitely propagate 1 or 2 leaves. You can keep it in your garden. There's no officials that are going to come and knock on your door and ask you, why did you propagate that 1 leaf? That's not how it's going to work. Now the basic purpose behind this is, let's say that I have this cubic frost and tomorrow I want to propagate it and sell it for commercial purpose. Let's say that I want to sell and make profit out of it. So I'm going to buy tens and thousands of cubic frost, do their stem cuttings or leaf propagations, and once when I have thousands of them, I start selling them. Now that is where the problem is going to start, because I am selling a patent succulent to make profit without taking the permission from the inventor. That is when you are going to get into trouble. Now guys, I haven't studied law, so I'm not very sure about this. This is whatever I have learned from the internet and about a little bit of research. So if I'm wrong, you can definitely correct me on this. But so this is what I have understood from all the articles that I've read, that basically a patent succulent is protected under the patent law. So it's basically like a copyright kind of a thing. So as long as you are taking the cutting for yourself, or let's say you're giving it out to your friend for free, that is not going to be much of an issue. But yes, if you are going to propagate them on a mass level in order to sell and make profit, like let's say on a commercial level, you are planning to sell like tens and thousands of these cubic frost by leaf propagation or by stem cuttings or by root division or by tissue culture, then that is going to be a problem, because you will be penalized if you get caught. So these succulents are not supposed to be sold for profit without informing or without taking the permission from the patent holder. Another thing you also might have noticed, wherein there is something mentioned as an R with the circle, which means that that particular plant name has been officially registered, or it would have a TM sign, which means that the name of that particular succulent is trademarked. Now in this case, you do not need to be worried. It all sounds very confusing, but you do not need to be worried. Now when there is something called, when there is a label like TM against the name of the succulent, now I'm not very sure which are the succulents that have a TM sign. But in case if you happen to notice a R with the circle or a TM next to the name of the succulent, now these succulents are trademarked. So basically you cannot use that same name. Let's take for example, if I have a Purple Delight. Let's say now Purple Delight is not a trademark. Let's say that, for example, this is a trademarked succulent. So basically I can propagate this succulent. I can do the stem cuttings. I can, do a leaf propagation, and I can sell it because it's not patent. It's only trademarked. Over here, I can do the leaf propagation and I can sell it, or I can give it to others, but I have to ensure that I do not use the same name. So if I'm giving it to someone, I cannot say that this is a Purple Delight because the name has been trademarked. So I cannot sell under the same name. However, I can still propagate it and sell it, but I cannot use the same name of the succulent. I cannot say that I have propagated Purple Delight and I'm selling it to you, because the name has been trademarked. So it is little bit of confusion, but as long as you are not into commercial selling, it's absolutely fine. You can take 1 or 2 leaf propagation and you can propagate it and use it for your garden. Nobody is going to question you for that, but obviously you cannot sell it on a commercial level. The entire patent trademark policy is for people who are into commercial selling, so that they do not do this without their consent. So as we all know that the succulents can be so difficult to propagate, and when it comes to creating an hybrid, it takes months and years of research and then checking onto it. There is so much of paperwork, there is so much of finance that gets into it, there is so much of money involved in that, because the efforts and time that the inventor takes in creating that hybrid. So with all due respect, I think it is the least that we can do is appreciate the person putting in so much of efforts and getting us this beautiful succulents. And so the person does have all the right to patent a succulent. Now obviously a natural variety of succulent cannot be patented. Anything that tends to grow naturally cannot be patented or cannot have a trademark. This only belongs to hybrid varieties or any succulent that has been cross-pollinated and created into a hybrid. Only these succulents can be offered or can be registered to be a patent, but not the natural variety. I think with all that hard work of the person putting into it, I think it's okay for the person to patent. It depends from the person to person. A lot of people don't patent it, they just randomly give it out in the market. A lot of varieties of succulents are there like that. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you, and now you know why the label tends to say that propagation is prohibited. This is the simple reason behind that. And of course, if you're going to propagate one or two for your own self, it's not going to be much of an issue. The only issue is when you tend to sell it on a large scale, on a commercial level, and you tend to gain a lot of profit out of it. That is when you will get penalized under the law. So guys, I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and thank you so much for watching.